Hey book nerds! Welcome to Book Club. Today I'm going to be talking about Agatha Christie's story Black Coffee, but I've read the novelization by Charles Osborne. Had to double check because I wasn't entirely sure. And this is actually my very first time reading a murder mystery. I've watched a lot of murder mysteries, but I've never actually read one. So, let's get into it. I'm so excited. You know, I kind of wish I had a cup of coffee to drink while I'm reading this. Black Coffee. The summary. So, I'm not going to try and look at the back of the book for this. I'm just going to try and remember, because I've read it, you know. My own little summary for it. So, basically, the summary is that Hercule Poirot is invited to come over to Sir Armory's house. Sir Armory has his documents stolen, very important work documents, and he wants the famous detective Hercule Poirot, I think I'm saying that right, to come by, find the person who stole it, and to retrieve those documents back. But when Hercule Poirot gets to the house, the person who has invited him, Sir Armory, is dead. So, on the insistence of family members, Hercule Poirot must find the thief and solve the crime of who murdered Sir Armory. I think I'm saying that right. I think that is his name. I'm gonna check the back. Sir Claude Amory. It's A-M-O-R-Y. Could be Amory or Armory. No, not Amory. Amory. Could be Amory, actually, because Armory means that there's an R after the A. I have an English degree, ladies and gentlemen. I have an English degree, and this is what I do with it. I'm trying to relearn how to spell, apparently. Let's just get into the characters. So, main characters. I would say that there's only really two main characters in this entire series, despite the fact that Hercule Poirot's point of view is not the full point of view that we get. Because, as I've kind of hinted at in the beginning, this book was originally a play. It was a screenplay and it was a play that got adapted into a novel, which I didn't realize when I first got this book at all, which I don't remember where I got this book, actually. But a lot of books that I tend to get are hand-me-downs or thrifted, sometimes gifts, but most of the time I just end up getting them somehow. But yeah. So I would say the two main characters for this book is Hercule Poirot, because he is the main detective, and probably his friend Hastings, who is following him around everywhere. I would say those two are like the two main characters. I mean, it makes sense. The detective is the main character. I just like to throw Hastings in there because Hastings seems to be a very, very, very good friend of Hercule Poirot. But also, as a first Agatha Christie read, I had no idea who Hastings actually was, but it seems like they had history other than anything else that Hercule Poirot has said. So, those are who I think are the two main characters. The detective, obviously, and his best buddy, Hastings. What a fun name. So, let's talk about side characters. Now, the side characters are basically just going to be everyone else who's in the play until the very end. Excluding probably like the Scotland Yard characters because they're not present in the story until the very end. So we have Sir Amory. I'm gonna say Sir Amory. I think that's gonna be the easiest thing for me to remember. So Sir Amory is our victim. He's the person who originally calls Hercule Poirot to come find the thief, and he ends up dying. So, after Sir Amory, we have his sister, Caroline. Caroline is a very rigid, you know, stone-faced, pure morals, cold-hearted. Not cold-hearted, but she's very much of like, you must have dignity and grace and you must not show any kind of skin. That's the kind of person that she is. And then we have Barbara, the niece, who is Sir Amory's niece. Caroline's daughter, Barbara, and she's more loose, she's more like, oh, I want to flirt with men, I just want to be free, I don't have to wear like super modest clothing, I want to be able to at least relax and enjoy my life without having to worry about getting married yet, and which her mother is absolutely like, oh, rebellious teenagers, how dare they? So I actually really like Barbara a lot because she's just so funny. So After Barbara is Richard, who is Sir Amory's son, and Richard is married to Lucia, who the book is very prevalent of telling us that she's Italian, and when did this book actually come out? I don't know, maybe it was more prevalent of the time period of when the play came out for some reason with Italians. I did not look too deep into the history because I've only just read the blurb and then I grabbed the book and now I'm reading the book, so that's kind of how that works for me. I'm not going to do a whole history deep dive, it's just books that I have with me. So, but it makes it very well known that, hey, this is his wife. She's Italian, that must be made known. She's an Italian wife, and she seems very soft-spoken, a little bit nervous, like kind of like an anxious wife to be around the family almost. And with that, we get to non-family members of the victim. One is Edward Edward Ray something. It's like Raynon. His name's Edward, which is Sir Amory's secretary. And then Carnelli, I think Dr. Carelli, not Dr. Carnelli. Sorry, I have my notes like right over there, so I'm trying to like remember this. So Dr. Carelli is a friend of Lucia. And those are all the side characters. So we have the victim all the way, you know, his whole family that's with him at the moment, and then also the two friends, or I guess, you know, the secretary and the friend of the wife. And yeah, I think that's all the side characters. Yeah, that's all of them. I had to think for a second, like, did I miss any of the characters? So, let's get into the plot and the murder. Hey guys, I just want to jump in real quick and remind you all, when I do reviews for book club, there will be spoilers, so this is going to be your only warning throughout the video. I will explain the entirety of the plot, and because it's a murder mystery, I will also tell you who the murderer is. Alright, just wanted to let you know. See you back in the video. So now we're going to get into the plot of this book. Now, I'm not going to try and go over every single little detail, every single chapter, because then we'd just be oh my goodness. I am just slurring and stuttering all my words, because that will just take forever to record, forever to edit, and it will take forever to watch. So I'm just going to kind of go over big plot points of the story themselves. Like, in the beginning of the story, the book actually doesn't start with Hercule Poirot's... I lost the word for it. Oh my goodness. I'm just losing my mind over here. Point of view. The book doesn't start with Hercule Poirot's point of view. It actually starts with Sir Amory's family. And how it starts off is that they're having a big dinner, and, you know, his secretary, Edward, is with them, and then Lucia's friend, Dr. Carelli, Dr. Carelli also joins and visits, and it's this big dinner, and Sir Amory, you know, stops the dinner and says they're, like, in about an hour, we're gonna have a very important meeting in this lounge area, in this room, and I want everyone to be there, even our two guests. And then he goes off somewhere to his desk, to his office, and his secretary follows him. With that, all the rest of the guests kind of go around and they mingle. The wife, Lucia, who is, remember, Richard, who is Sir Amory's son, is married to Lucia. So when I say the wife, Lucia, I mean like she's married to Richard, the son of the victim. So they all start kind of gathering into the room where they're supposed to have this big giant family meeting. She starts pouring everyone black coffee, and she's gonna go take some to Sir Amory. I'm keep blanking on his name. I think I just might have to start calling him the victim. She takes black coffee to the victim. The secretary takes it for her and gives it to him in his office. And While that's all going around, they find an old medicine box that they take down, and all of the family members and a couple of the guests are just kind of rummaging through it, and they're asking Dr. Carelli, since he's a doctor, hey, what do all of these things do? And that's when he explains, like, hey, these are all super old, this one can still be medicine, this one specifically is poison, and then they put all the contents back and put the box back where they found it. So then comes in Dr. Amori, the secretary, the whole family's there, and he just says, hey, I have some very important documents and I know one of you stole it. Two things are gonna happen. Either one, you give it back when I turn off the lights and no one gets in trouble, or two, I have Hercule Poirot find the thief and you will go to jail even if you are my living relative right now. So the lights go off and there is a loud clang and a rip. When the lights come back on, the envelope full of important documents is on the table. What were these very important documents? Thankfully, we actually do know what they are. Atomic nuclear bomb blueprints is what they are. So, kind of very important to not lose those and to not have them be sold somewhere else. So, while that's all happening, the family is all relieved, like, oh, thank goodness, the documents are back and no one has to, be threatened to go to jail now. We're not going to have an investigation on us. And the wife, Lucia, is especially relieved. She's like, oh, thank goodness for that. Unfortunately, Sir Amori is now dead. Hello? Everything is getting too perfectly timed, and now I actually am freaking out. And my door is open too. I'm not gonna wear everything. I'm scaring myself. The house is being under construction, so let me just fix the camera now. Where was I? The victim, Sir Amori, is dead. At this time, Hercule Poirot comes in and is like, hey, I'm here because I was told there was a thief amongst you all. And the whole family's like, well, there's no longer a thief, but now we have a dead body. And Hercule Poirot was like, I didn't sign up for this. I'm just gonna go because the family kind of wants me to leave and they just want the police to take care of this. But it was actually Richard's wife, Lucia, that is imploring Hercule Poirot to please stay, please figure this out, please figure out who killed, the patriarch of the family. But Richard is kind of looking at his wife like she's crazy and just kind of goes, hey, he was probably poisoned and you just served him black coffee that might have been poisoned. How about you shut up and we let him leave because you might get looked at as a suspect. And so now she's trying to be like, actually we don't need you, you can leave. She's like, but Hercule Poirot's like, no, I'm gonna stay now because that's kind of suspicious and because the lady first asked very nicely. So now he stays and Hastings is with him because he brought him along, which honestly adorable. How fun it is to bring your best friend along on little adventures. So Hercule Poirot, I forgot how to say his name. Hercule, I'm just gonna say. So Hercule and Hastings, they are now, kind of investigating around. They're talking to each member of the family. They're kind of going little here, little there, like, hey, what do you remember? What did you hear? This is where he finds out about the clanking noise and the tear. Now, he thinks that one of the women tore their dresses. He goes around and he asks, hey, is your dress torn? Is your dress torn? Is your dress torn? Is any piece of clothing torn at all of what you were wearing that night? Nothing was torn. So, and he's trying to also figure out the clanking noise. But as it goes on, he finds out that the poison was hyoscine. I think it's hyoscine. And basically it's like a very not super strong, it is a strong poison, but it's not super strong in smell or taste, can easily be covered up with black coffee, But he was not poisoned when everyone was in the room with him. He was poisoned before it happened because it's slow acting. So they found out that he wasn't actually poisoned by the black coffee that was served. He was probably poisoned at an earlier time, and then it just took effect. Probably because he was given like a smaller dosage to kill him. So, as he's kind of going around talking to each person, trying to figure out what's happening, he finds out that there is a blackmail plot happening in the house as well. And it turns out Lucia, the Italian wife, is the daughter of an international spy, and she wants no one to find out about this. Not even her husband knows. But one person does know. Dr. Carelli. He is not Lucia's friend, he is Lucia's blackmailer, because he knows that she is the daughter of an international spy. And when Hercule Poirot finds out about this, he confronts her and is like, you are this daughter, like, we know that you have, like, this is what's happening and this and that, we know you're being blackmailed for it. And in a fit of panic, she admits to killing Sir Amaury because she was the one that was being blackmailed to steal the documents for him. So the clang was an extra spare key to the safe that had the documents in there. But she was not going to go through with it, and she was going to commit. So, because she had some of the hyoscine poison on her, but it wasn't to kill Sir Amaury, it was going to be for her, so that way she could commit. So, and if you don't understand what that means, basically, she was going to go bye-bye forever. Because she did not want her shame to be known. She did not want to be accused. She was just she's been a nervous wreck because of being blackmailed for money, and then she's being blackmailed to steal the documents, and she had the spare key too. So when the lights went out, she threw the key, took some of the poison, and she was going to commit with it because she just did not want to keep doing it. So, but her husband Richard overhears, and then he admits that he was actually the one that poisoned Sir Amaury, and that his wife is trying to take the blame, but it was actually him and not his wife, and they're trying to take the blame for the murder to protect each other or to protect themselves. And Hercule Poirot's watching this and just goes, hey, please don't try and commit, and also I know that neither of you are the killers. Like, you could calm down. I know that neither of you actually poisoned Sir Amaury, so you could calm down about that. So he's like, just stay, like, it's fine, you're all fine. Like, he loves you, she loves you. Like, obviously, Dr. Carelli is gonna go to prison for blackmailing you, so you're gonna be fine. Like, this news does not have anything to do with anything. We're gonna find the papers, and we're gonna figure out what happens. So, and I think it's when he's talking to Hastings, does he realize what happened to the document itself? Because I think I forgot to mention this in the beginning, but when people actually looked inside the envelope that was returned, the papers were gone. There was no atomic bomb code or anything like that in there. Like, there was absolutely nothing. No blueprints, nothing. So the paper was still missing throughout this entire time. So Hercule Poirot figures out that the tear that he heard, that not that he heard, but that the other people in the family heard, was not a tear in the dress. It was in fact a tear of paper. And so him and Hastings found shreds of the atomic bomb blueprints in a vase, and they just kind of sit down and just go, you know what? We're gonna act like we didn't know this happened, that we didn't guess that this is where the document actually is, torn apart inside a vase. Like, we're gonna pretend like we don't know. So, in the last few chapters of the book, he tells a secretary, Edward, that he feels, really hot, he's super thirsty. So Edward decides to give him a strong drink. So he gives them a drink of whiskey, and when he's about to drink it, he goes, hang on, hold a second, I think someone's actually listening in on our conversation. So Hercule Poirot gets up, goes to the outdoor balcony, looks around, and then he comes back, sits down, starts drinking, and he starts talking to Edward, how he knows that Edward was in fact the killer. Being the secretary to Sir Amory, he would have access to the documents, to what codes to either spare keys and to the safe, and also would be able to poison him way before anyone else in the family could have guessed when he was poisoned. And so the secretary's kind of like, yeah, I killed him, I stole the documents, and he tells Hercule Poirot that, well, because of your foolishness and your ego, you didn't realize that I've also poisoned your drink that he drank. So because Hercule Poirot's like commenting like how he's feeling so tired and dizzy and heavy, and so Edward, the secretary's like, well, yeah, I poisoned your drink, I did kill Sir Amory, I am going to take the documents, and I am going to sell them to the highest bidder and make a lot of money. So Edward gets up to the vase, starts taking the document papers out, and just as he's about to leave Hercule for dead, Hastings and Scotland Yard pops up. I believe it's Scotland Yard. I'm going to be so embarrassed if it's not, because I think this is actually like in London or something. So Scotland Yard and Hastings jump out from behind the double doors and stops him in his tracks, and Hercule Poirot stands up and he's completely fine. He says that when he got up to search around to see if anyone was listening in, him and Hastings swapped out the drink and he's actually perfectly fine. And now they have his confession and they have the original document. And at the end of the book, he gets the original document of the atomic bomb blueprints and hands it over to Richard, because Richard is Sir Amory's son. Technically it goes to him. And he just kind of looks at it, and he looks at his wife, and he's like, this is too evil for us to even have. Like, this will cause us so many problems. People are going to want to buy this off us. And so he just gets rid of it. He throws it into the fire and they never see it again. And the book ends with a happy ending with the young couple like being reunited. She doesn't have to worry about being blackmailed. He loves her, she loves him. So cute, and it's such an interesting, funny story. And I'm really glad that this was my first introduction to Agatha Christie stories, or at least to Hercule Poirot, even if it wasn't technically an Agatha Christie novel. Also, really quick, one of the things that I really liked about this book is that this is the crime scene. Like, it was the library. I completely forgot that's where it was. I thought it was a lounge. So the library is where everything takes place. It's where the murder happens. It's where the main investigation is. And they have this little floor plan in here for the book. And it's just so cute. And I love it so much. And this is probably what people saw for the play when they went to go watch it. And now I kind of want to go find the play and watch it myself. But look at this. This is so cute. So overall, I would say the book was a good 4 out of 5 stars. This is technically my first Agatha Christie read, but is it really my first Agatha Christie book? Because this story was originally a screenplay. It was meant to be watched, not read. And it was until Charles Osborne turned it into a novel was I able to read it. So is this technically my first Agatha Christie book? I'm not sure, but I do know one thing is that I enjoyed it. It was fun. It was an easy read. I liked the humor in it. The mystery itself was actually pretty good because I had no idea who killed Sir Amory. I keep wanting to say Armory. Sir Amory, the victim. So I had no idea who killed him. I had no idea how they did it. I figured the poison was, slipped in, but I didn't understand the tear. I didn't understand the loud clank. My brain is not meant for it. But overall, this was a nice, easy read. It went by super fast. I thought it was funny. I thought it was super cute. I thought the murder was actually really well thought out, and I could see why Agatha Christie is a very popular murder mystery author along with all of her books. And this just makes me excited to read more of her stuff. Now, what's funny is that even though I said that I don't read a lot of murder mystery books and that this is actually my first murder mystery that I've read, I actually have a ton of murder mysteries, but I've never read any of them because when I tried when I was younger, I just couldn't. I don't know. But I am so happy that I've read this. I've actually really enjoyed it. It makes me excited to read other Agatha Christie novels, and now I'm on the lookout for more. But let me know if you are interested in reading this book. Let me know if this is a book that you've had read, or if you've seen the play or read the screenwriting for it. Let me know your thoughts and your opinions on it, and well, I would definitely recommend this to a friend if they want to get into murder mysteries. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you all so much, and next week's book club, what are we going to read for next week's book club? I don't know yet. So it'll still be another surprise, but thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next chapter. Bye!